Nā mihi aroa ki te whānau o Ngāti Whātu o Rākei, nā mihi aroa i te tuatai i te karanga o te rā. Tēnā rā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Kahura tangata ki uta me tūraki atu ki tangata ātai. Kahura tangata ki ātai me tūraki atu ki tangata ki uta. Pērā hoke rā te koropu nui, te koropero o te wahi awa. Te toitoi aua whakamautami i te ara, whakamautami i te ara. Kaura ka tame ui he tuku atu tame e te tā whangawhanga. He putanga ki te ata, he tauira mai e te tupua, mai e te tāwhito. I haro mai koe whē, i haro mai koe tū, whakaotinoku i te tū, whakaoterangi, ko tō manawa, ko tōku manawa e, tāne ka urihia, whanno, haro mai te toki, haumi e, hui e, taiki e. Ka tangi te titi, ka tangi te kākā. Ka tangi tu kai aia, ko tēnā tahi te ririna, kei te moana nui o toi. Tēnā koutou katoa. Manuhiri te tupuna, manuhiri te tangata, manuhiri te tapu. Tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora everyone. Big mihi a te whānau o Rākei, e tuatai e te kōrero o te haukai, e te mana whenua, e te kahurangi. Nā mihi ki a koutou. Well, I got chucked in the deep end today because Hauturu, as usual, pulled out. You know, Joe Davis, big friend of mine, hardly. You know, so he gave us the big push and he said he couldn't make it today, but I'm chucked in the deep end, so I'm here today. As you've already heard, I was a negotiator on the Ngāti Manuhiri claims. One of the big issues that we had with the treaty claims was getting the Office of Treaty Settlements and everyone else to look at a holistic view of how Manuhiri, Ngāti Manuhiri in our case, or Māori, view the whole world. So what I thought I'd do today is I'd give you a little bit of background, and I've only got 15 or 20 minutes, about our holistic view of Ngāti Manuhiri's view, and it might be generically associated with other Māori worldview right across the on Ngā Manu Taonga, birds. Today is about the Te Moana Nui o Toi. You notice I never said Hauraki Golf or Tikapa Moana. That's because our iwi, we look at the moana as Te Moana Nui o Toi, the ancient navigator that came from Hawaii and afar and discovered these lands and our beautiful oceans that we have out there. But that's our preference, and other tribes describe it quite differently, and that's all good with us. Now, if we go straight to the birds, and we're talking about what they actually mean to our environment, what they mean to Ngāti Manuhiri, what they mean to everyone. So I'll give you a little bit of backdrop into our worldview, Ngāti Manuhiri worldview on birds. So where did the birds come from? There's, in my mihi out there, because it's Māori language week coming up, and because everyone out there is learning te reo Māori, I hope. Put your hand up who's not. Kei te pai. All right. Now in that mihi I named 3 birds, and I named the person who made the birds. So I'm going to ask you at the end whether you know who they were. So you ever think about that? Because if you know who they were, that means that you're really on board with this whole concept about conservation and looking after the life of these seabirds and everything else that goes with it. So in our worldview, in our Ngāti Manuhiri's worldview, the birds, the manu, 2 types of manu. Manu Māori, our ordinary birds that we see every day, flying around on the moana, on the lands. And manu tāwhito, the birds that come from afar, the birds that were handed down from or came from Hawaii and our ancestral homelands. The birds that were created by our gods and our atua. So the birds conceptually have a huge bearing on who we are as Māori and how we act and interact with the whenua, whether it be through conservation, whether it be through spirituality, whether it be our everyday lives or whatever. Because we hear quite, and I'll get to this later on about Hauturu, we hear that Māori ate a lot of birds, and we sure did. We sure did, because they were a huge vital resource to us. We sang a lot about birds. We created waiata, haka, mō tētea about birds. They were godlike figures. They hold special powers. At the birth of a child or a baby, certain birds and incarnations were spoken of or delivered. So they had a huge bearing on who we were as a people of Ngāti Manuhiri. Some of these legends, some of this kōrero has all been handed down to different tribes. They all have their own way of expressing it. But in ours, a pure example is the island that sits out in the Te Moana Nui o Toi, Kauau. We don't call it Kauau. We call it Te Kauau o Tūmaro. Who can tell me what Kauau represents? Gentleman over there with his hand up. Shag. Who can tell me what Tūmaro means? Whoever has any, if you all have some integration with the birds, you see the shags all lined up in a line. When they're standing on the bluffs or when they're standing anywhere, you see the lone shag standing out on a post, but you also see them where they form a big line like warriors, sitting on the cliff tops or on the high reaches in a line. That's Te Kauau or Tūmaro. Two standing up, maro in a line, formation. So that's how we perceive. We don't call it Kauau Island. We call it Te Kauau or Tūmaro. So that's just one of the connectors, if you like, or one of the differences on how we actually personify birds, how we name things after birds. Now we know that birds came from afar. Our ancestors, Kupe, followed the kuku all the way over here, followed the pathway of the birds to get to Aotearoa. The shining cuckoo came from Tāwhaki, from the stars. The birds of the forest and even mankind were designed and made by Tāne. They never just came about. The originator of the birds was Tāne, our God. A lot of you would say God of the forest. Well, he was more than that. He was the creator of all things in our world, in Ngāti Manuhiri's worldview. So these were all concepts that we had to get across at our treaty negotiations. Because at the end of the day, we were talking about this beautiful spiritual homeland of Ngāti Manuhiri and Ngāti Rehua sitting out in the middle of Te Moana Nui o Toi. So we had to get these people to connect with us, how we are as a people, to get that debate going and put that island back on the negotiation table. Obviously, we had an interest and had a right. It was stolen off us in 1895. It was taken by the Crown for conservation purposes. Why? Because a lot of Pākehā, entrepreneurial type people, were shooting the hihi, our favourite bird for Ngāti Manuhiri, the stitch bird, the hihi, over on Hauturu o Toi, Little Barrier, taking the skins over to Germany, Europe, all through other parts of the world for prizes. So this brought about a huge debate in the 1800s, and some of you will be aware of that. So we put all this on the table because at the end of the day, we wanted to protect the island, our spiritual homeland of Hauturu o Toi, and also to make sure that everyone in the motu in New Zealand and elsewhere around the world was informed about how the birds, how the life on that island, the flora and fauna and the surrounding environs right across the motu connect with us so that we can protect that treasure. So these birds that fly around, the seabirds, which have all of this pressure on them from modern civilizations, impacting on the numbers that we have. We already know all of them. I'm not going to go into all of the poisonous things that happen to our birds in our environment to make that happen. But what I am going to say is, for a long, long time, Māori were never ever thought as conservationists. Now, the conservation management plan was something that we put through in our settlement. And that becomes operational in the first week of October. So if any of you are around and want to come to that, feel free to give me a ring or get in touch with our office. And we're very proud of that because the conservation management plan upholds all of the conservation values of the island, and it also upholds all of the cultural values of the island. Now, one of the important aspects of their conservation management plan is the birds, is the manu, ngā manu taonga, or Ngāti Manuhiri, nor the motu. So the birds to us, they deliver a message, a simple message. And if we follow the tikanga of the birds, like the shining cuckoo that comes all the way from Siberia, and it carries a little pebble in its mouth, and it brings it all the way over, and it drops it up north, actually, at the Maunganui Bluff. And if you go up there, or those that go up there, you'll see thousands of these little pebbles that thousands of these birds over thousands of years have brought to quench their thirst on that flight that they come out to Aotearoa. That's how important that birds are to us, and we remember them. We're not here today at this meeting talking about conservation and birds and forgetting about it when we go out, as I'm sure that a lot of you aren't. We as Māori, as Ngāti Manuhiri, we're here forever. We're here forever. So we plan long-term, and the CMP, the Conservation Management Plan for Hauturu, is a long-term plan for us. Long-term plan with the communities, a long-term plan with all of you people and everyone else that wants to actively get involved and look after the cultural footprint, the conservation and the environmental values to protect our sacred motu. Now, who can answer that first question? Who can think of the names of those birds? Now, you all need to go to Te Reo. You all need to open up some books. I'll give you a hint. I said tāne. Tāne kauri here, the creator of all things. So tāne was our God, our Hauturu, that created birds and bird life and everything that surrounds it and encompasses with it. But I named 3 other birds. Who can tell me? So in our waiata, in our whai kōrero, in our mihis and that, we refer to birds and other godlike metaphorical symbols or personas that we use as Māori to demonstrate who we are and what we would like to do and how we engage ourselves with the surrounding environment. So if we're conservationists and environmentalists, we should learn more about the indigenous people of this country. Yes, and there were people here before Māori came here. We're well aware of that. We've known that for thousands of years. But we took up the name tangata whenua when we got here. And Kupe and Toi were some of the first navigators that came to these lands. So if we look at our names that surround us, the island, Ngāti Manuhiri, Karere o Toi, Te Karoro, which is the seagull. Everyone knows what a seagull looks like. Can anyone tell me about what the seagull is famous for in the Tāmaki area? There was an important big battle and a big war up the coast just north of Ngāti Manuhiri, north of Pakiri, you'll all know that. Naonioni Haia o Pakiri, the shining, gleaming beaches of Pakiri, the kāinga of Ngāti Manuhiri. Just north of there was a big Māori battle in 1820. There was that many slain that the seagulls feasted for days, and that name was commemorated by Te Ika Ranginui o Te Karoro, the feast of the gulls. So we personify these birds in our kōrero, and we make sure that the kōrero around that particular manu, whether it be seafaring, whether it be land bird, never gets lost. So it's in our histories. It's fantastic that you're writing all this down and you've got all these books, but that's not enough. That's not enough. If you're true about conservation, you'll learn about the stories, the myths. We all know about Tarzan. So I want you to learn about Tukaiaia. I said, kātangi te titi. That's the mutton bird, titi. I said, kātangi te kākā. That's the kaka. So the challenge I put out there, where do I put out there, everyone today, is keep the dream going. Let's do everything that we can to save the birds, protect the birds, but go and learn more, just like I have to and everyone else has to. The third bird was Tukaiaia. Tukaiaia was the giant extinct sea eagle, the metaphoric taniwha for the Ngāti Manuhiri, Ngāti Rehu, and Ngāti Wai people. So that's how we use that as explaining that and getting that out there. So we never forget that. It's been in our kōrero for hundreds and hundreds of years, these names, and handed down. So like yourselves, I hope you all go home to your children, to your relations, to whoever, and the people beside you, and do the same as what you're doing. Protect the moana nui o Toi, protect Hauturu o Toi, protect our environment, uphold all of the good values. But think about this, uphold the cultural values as well, because they are very strong and they underpin everything that the environment and the birds and everything else stands for. Kia ora tātou.